invite us?
Yeah. Our next one is in June. Our next one is in June.
Okay. Oh, Carrie's gonna go, all right.
There you go, thanks.
Got the gist of it now, you'll really
Great.
do.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Carrie Grimes with East Iowa Heirloom Quilters. This is my cohort in crime. We have a show this year. We have a show every other year. This is our raffle quilt. The tickets are $1 for one quilt, one ticket, bought 6 tickets for $5. I can say this. Our show is at Coe College 2 days, May 16th and 17th. And
Our
that's
theme,
our theme is Cheers to 45 years, a sapphire celebration. So we have 2 challenges for the show. The show chairs picked a blue and white challenge. And then the president of the guild picked a This Is Me challenge, which you are to use like the first block you ever made or something that represents you. Some people are doing art quilts, a technique you really like. It has to be 20 by 20. So that's been interesting. A lot of people are going to participate in that, I believe. For programs, we have some big ones. Well, talk about using the local stores. We've done Kathy Lockhart out of DeWitt, and she's doing Studio 180 rulers. Carrie Smith out of Fabric Stashers in Tipton is doing So Kind of Wonderful. Sue Penn is out of the Des Moines area. She's a fabric artist. She's going to teach us fabric painting. We have someone coming that's a certified stripology teacher. That's coming next year. And then every year we have one charity program, and probably our best one, I think, was the Iowa Donors Program. Great speaker, really great and inspiring. Cindy heads up our education this year, and we did a Quilters Life Block of the Month sew along. And there was about 20 people
Yeah.
did that, and then we all brought our quilts and showed them.
we did a parade of quilt.
That was fun. We've started small groups this last year, and we have like art quilts, collage quilts, scrap groups, embroidery, applique, we just kind of did a survey of what people wanted, and then we formed small groups, and they've been really good getting to know other members better. We have about 250 members in our guild.
So it's kind of hard to get to know one another. So we started these little clusters, and I've gotten to know quite a few, and yeah.
The next year we have Edita Sitar coming, and that we are doing as a special event in May.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk to you.
May 18th. So she lives in California, so we have airfare. It's going to be a pricey one, but people will be invited. We're going to move it to a large church, or we don't have it nailed down yet.
Yeah.
Where it's
we've got a contract with her. We just don't have
our locations down yet.
Yeah.
She was hard to get. I stalked her for 2 years, and I will admit I stalked her.
And I stalked her before that. So yeah, we've been hounding her for a while.
Hounding her. So that's about all I know of with our guild.
We did get Sherry.
Oh yeah, Sherry from DeWitt.
Sometimes
also.
you talk to the quilt store owners. Sherry in DeWitt is going to do from farm to machine, a talk about fabric,
how fabric's made,
cotton to the fabric being made.
Yeah.
She's also going to do a workshop. We have Kim from K&K.
She's only
in
doing
Dyersville. She's only doing a workshop, but they also will do a pop-up store at your meeting too. So if some people can't get out,
we had
they charge us mileage.
Yeah,
that's it.
Sherry from DeWitt store, the Heartland Cotton. Yeah, we had Melinda from Independence come, and she did about panels and adding borders, and
then she did
a great
the
talk show.
Quilt As You Go workshop.
Yeah,
and it was very good.
So we've used it.
What's the theme of the Dyersville?
It's just, she's only doing a workshop, not a trunk show. So we're
Yeah.
doing a tabletop.
It's tabletopper, but the patterns they have, and it's like 3 different sizes, but she makes up these kits and the patterns are really
Okay.
unique.
You can
and
finish it in a 3-hour workshop.
It's a doable thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we've used a lot of local store owners. We've
So that
had
we have
Helios
covered.
before. They're really good.
yeah, you'll enjoy Helios.
We used the West Branch a few months ago.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah, we've had West Branch at, not this guild, another guild. They'll talk about that. We've had Helios twice, actually, at one of them. Have you noticed the artwork on the wall that looks like little underwater scenes and stuff like that? The gal that makes those came and one time, yeah, they were pretty. If you look around the shop, you notice they have a bunch of frames behind their cutting table and stuff there. Yeah. One year we had somebody come that did barn blocks, and that sold
Yeah.
really well. We painted barn blocks for our class, and she told the history of barn blocks.
And I think there's a group in Mount Vernon that does it. And so you could talk to them about having a barn brush day, a board and brush day
Yeah.
or something, and do barn blocks.
Any questions?
Thank you, Frank. Okay, anybody want to be fifth?
I will.
Okay.
I got it first. She wins. I win.
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm from Calico Cut-Ups in Anamosa. And I brought 2 people with me today. They're going to be our program people for next year. So brought them along. Hopefully they get some good ideas from here. There's always great ideas. Our group to this year, we're doing programs that are considered sustainability, meaning usually using things that you have on hand. So the programs that we're doing this year, our first program in January was a fat quarter challenge. And what it was you picked a fat quarter out of a bag, a bus or a basket, and then a Villa Rosa pattern, which I think we had 3 different kinds. And you had to make something from your stash with that fat quarter included in that quilt. And on the back actually are pictures, because we showed them this month. So I had pictures of the ones that got completed and were shown
Yeah, we just. drew
last
out-
week. So yeah,
And
it
then
was
the
it was
back
very
and the
interesting,
quarter, right?
little challenge to do. And then also we got our challenge. I guess it's really the block of the month. So we're doing a block of the month this year. And it is it was originally designed for Kaufman's solids. Kona stuff. Yeah, but isn't he Kaufman?
Yeah. but I
Yeah,
mean, it's just-
Robert
yeah.
Kaufman, yeah, Kona. And so we were to use our own fabrics, so you got to use up your stash. A lot of us, like I'm using batiks in mine, and a lot of people are just using whatever they have. And so there's 12 blocks. I think they're 12.5 inches square, and it's a really easy thing to do, just a block of the month. And those will be due in November. So most everything that we do is usually on this coming year has been 3 to 4 months to get them completed. Besides the block of the month, we had one of our members do in February a Prairie Points demonstration. She done a grandmother's quilt, and she wanted to finish it off like her grandmother finished off her quilt. So she figured out how to do the Prairie Points. And so she did a presentation and showed us how to make them and how to apply them to a quilt. So that was interesting. And,
I think the one we just had was the best.
yes, we had this one was a surprise. I didn't even know that they were coming. I don't know if anybody has heard of the Shop Hop Sisters. They wear orange. Two of them, well, Rose just joined our group. Her and one of her sisters came and did a lovely presentation on how they do their shop hops, how they get prepared for them, how they figure out what they're gonna use for challenges.
The games they
The
play.
games, they have all kinds of games that they play. And they handed out bingo cards for us. And so during their presentation, they were calling out the bingo, the bingo slots. And so, the first person that got bingo, won. And of course, it's something orange that we won because everything they have is orange. So they were just delightful. They brought all of some of the challenges of the quilts that they made and how they kind of decided on how they lay out what they're going to do.
Yeah. Planning.
They plan it. I mean, they have a book that they each have that is very, they have their itinerary on what shops they're gonna go to during that part of their shop hop, if it's, a day or weekend, or if it's, a whole week, it depends on how far out they're going and how long they're gonna be out there. And it was just, they gave us so many ideas on different kinds of challenges that they did. And she just reiterated how important it is to get out there and to get to these shops, because these shop owners are just, once you get to know them, they are very welcoming, very wonderful people. And they're there and they're just, I don't know, she just was really, really telling us about how they've gotten to know all of these shop owners over the years. She started, I think, in 2013, I think was about the time that they started doing it on a yearly basis, and how it had progressed and changed over the time on how they got out there and figured out what they wanted to do, and just meeting people. They would have like the people in blue that would be, kind of in that same area at the same time. And you get to know a lot of other people, other sewists and other people that are there that are also doing the shop hops. So I know my first shop hop was 2018. I moved down from Minnesota, and I really wasn't doing a lot of sewing when I first came to Anamosa. I had just started quilting. And so I had heard about this shop hop and I go, oh, I have to do this, So I went out that year and I decided I was going to buy a yard of fabric at each store that I went to. And so I had the magazine and I'm trying to figure out, okay, which of these quilts do I want to make? And so, yeah, I'm still making quilts from that fabric. I just finished, I think there was a corn stamp. I just finished that. I've been carrying that to retreats for like years, and I finally finished it. So it's not quilted, but it is made. But anyway, yeah, that's,
Stop Hop Sisters from.
they are from my area. They're from Anamosa. At least I know Rosie lives in Anamosa.
Yeah.
I don't know her sisters.
She's nearby.
Yeah, they're
Not-
nearby. They're near us.
And
So
then
they're
one's
in our area.
Kansas.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, they're something else. It was a very good presentation. I was really, really pleased with that one. And
They're on Facebook, and so if you're interested in having them come talk, just reach out to them. I'm sure
Yeah.
They'd love to.
yeah,
It's fun.
they were very much, lots of fun and just lots of ideas. And I think the challenges that they do can be done, within our own groups. I mean,
Any road trip.
right. And they do she says they do keep it up at when they are shop hopping. So on their website, will throw out pictures of what they found, what they're working on as far as challenges go and that kind of thing. So another place to get ideas would be their Facebook page. And it's just Shop Hop Sisters, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
So yeah. Where am I
Also
at?
known as the Orange Lady.
Or the
Yeah.
Orange Ladies, definitely. That's what most people know them as. We have someone coming for our guild. And I think she's here today in August. Jane Darwin is, yeah, Darren, sorry. Yes, you're coming and your program, I think is called Just Another Quilter Using Scraps and Stash.
Yeah. That's another quilter is kind of my. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just kind of slid it all together. Yes, so we're excited to be able to see you in August. And let's see, what else did I have in here? We have a May, our May meeting will be a challenge that will be brought out to us because we are going to do a shop hop together as a group, as many of us as go. And in June, so our June meeting, we don't have a meeting, we're just gonna shop hop. And so May, we will get that, and then Sandy and Lori are gonna do a presentation on flange binding, so that's what we're gonna have for May. September is Liz Olson, who is a member of ours, is going to do a presentation on different ways to do cathedral windows. And I'm excited about that because I've never done the cathedral windows. I've never done it. So I'm excited to learn that. And like I said, our people that are doing our programs this year have kind of broken it up into like 4 different sections. So our last section is going to be techniques. So in September and November, we're going to have new technique challenges put out there. So I have no idea what that is. They haven't told me. It's like a secret, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know anything about that. We've been a guild for 37 years, and we meet at the Lawrence Center in Anamosa, which is the community center there. And so most of all our meetings are done there. We'd have 2 all-day sews throughout the year. And we have a very small budget. So we utilize our members, and that's basically it. We're lucky we have someone coming this time. So that's very special for us to get to actually have somebody come in and speak to us. So I'm excited about that.
Christmas tree walk.
Yes, in Anamosa, our community center, in the gymnasium in December, we have it starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday, where different members or different organizations with businesses they put up a tree and they decorate it. So we have our tree, our guild, and we try to design ornaments. Like, yeah, we did ornaments that were all in denim before. We've done different kinds of like snowflakes, and the one that Cindy and Lee did was like a little stuffed snowman, and it was all a blue and white theme. So no, it's just to show. Yeah, it's just kind of exciting to see how everybody decorates their tree that year. And yeah, it's really quite pretty. They have choirs that are there singing. They have, yeah, somebody there playing piano during the day. They have, yeah, it's quite lovely. We make cookies to give away, and all the organizations do. So there's cookies and coffee and everything that people get while they're walking through. It's just a really sweet
I
time.
got a picture if you wanted to see what.
Yeah,
ours
that was,
look like.
yeah. So it's interesting. It's a community thing. So, yeah. I know that the last ones that we did, depends on what they actually look like, the ornaments look like, to whether or not somebody suggested, well, we should take the leftover ornaments because they're all cloth and give them to like the nursing home or the the center there, and they can put them on their food trays or hang them from their doorknobs or something like that. So, yeah, it's something that I think.
Yeah, this last year was paper pieces.
Yes,
yeah.
we had little paper piece ornaments. They were only 3 inches square. And yeah.
My year was simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little more challenging, but they were done in kind of pinks and bright greens and yeah, bright blues and yeah, they were quite colorful. They were really quite cute. So, yeah. Anybody else have any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. Just to go to the bathroom, maybe get a drink, get up out of the chair. Stand up.
Let you guys know that one of our local quilt shops, now that you come this way, one of our local quilt shops is closing, it's our second wife.
Oh, yeah.
She is, I don't know, 20.
Challenging this year. Oh, sorry. This is quite the challenge this year because the fact we had this float all together and then it rained and they canceled the parade till the next day. So we took it all down, put it back up. And I am so glad we did this because we've had a lot of standing ovations throughout the parade and a lot of thank yous. It truly touched my heart. I was the driver, so. For our fair parade in Macogata. We did have like the truck part of it, since we do Quilts of Valor, just designated for the Quilts of Valor, and we did present Quilts of Valor at our fair, a couple of them. So in the back was just, we passed out water. Because of that, I think our group has grown like 2 to 3 people a month. Just getting our name out there, I think really helped us. Let's see here. I had to revise our trifold because a lot of things have changed. We've added Grateful Threads. Grateful Threads meet at our senior center where we have our meetings. They are a group, they do all community service projects. All you have to do is just show up. They provide all the materials, just sew or cut or whatever they have to offer. So that's every Wednesday. And there was a need for more time together and more classes. We've added Toll House Quilters. They meet the 2nd and 4th Thursdays. So sometimes you can quilt or sew 3 times a week at our club. Right, this weekend we have So Long Saturday going on. I volunteer to come here.
We thank you.
Huh?
We thank you.
Thanks. We have Facebook live streaming of every meeting we have. So people that can't be there. Our Grateful Threads are more the ones that only get out once a week. So we take our meeting and our president will have like a shortened meeting the next day or whenever they meet on Wednesdays. Let's see, we are working on a web page. We are planning a retreat this month. We're doing a daily commute retreat, 24th through the 27th, and they're having a massage therapist come in and provide massages. So maybe that might lure some people in. We're having a bus trip June 5th, we're going into Wisconsin. See ya. August 6th, we have Timber Lanes will be there honoring 25 veterans. We do that every year. A lot of more classes are requested. We're doing Bargello table toppers this weekend. We did Mando purses, Jelly Roll rugs. We always have a presentation. This last year we had Jane that came. That was a good turnout. We had to readjust a little bit, but we pulled it off. We've had Quilt This from Dubuque Quilt Shop. We've had K&K Logo from Dyersville. Keeping You Sewing from Clinton. All those owners have come in and did demonstrations. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, May 5th, our next meeting, we had a member, Kurt Wilson, a male. He was a engineer at Collins Aerospace there in Cedar Rapids. And he was a beautiful quilter. His mom and also Kurt used to quilt. Kurt passed away. His estate at our next meeting would like to bring in some of his quilts he's done. Everybody's more than welcome to come in and purchase or look at them. I guess there's a $5 fee for that. Let's see, what else is there?
But you said you don't have a website, right?
Not yet, we're working on that.
Mhm.
Yep.
Man, you guys do a lot.
Huh?
We are busy.
Now, you haven't had trouble filling up a bus?
Actually, we're thinking about getting a second bus. A 15 passenger,
Oh.
sorry, okay.
Okay,
Or, yeah, plus, yeah, 15 passenger, we're looking at maybe getting a second one. And we just had our meeting Monday night, so. I can't keep up. But, so, any other questions? Okay.
thank you.
How about you in the back? You've stood up a few times trying to get involved. Oh, do you want to go? Okay, you two.
Okay, you two arm wrestle,
You
we'll
arm
see who
wrestle.
comes next.
You'll be next. You'll be next.
She said I'd beat her up here if we raced.
I was glad for the break because my left leg was cramping so bad. I was gonna volunteer to come up to talk just so I could stretch my leg. So I'm Diana and I'm from Burlington. Hawkeye Heritage Quilters Guild in Burlington. We meet monthly on the 4th Tuesday. And we meet at a church that does charge us to use their facility, but it's not expensive. Messiah Lutheran Church on West Avenue. And we have about 53 members right now. And our dues are $20 per year. And we do a lot of charity work. And one of the big ones is Quilts of Valor. We have a separate group where a lot of them are our members, but it's a separate Quilt of Valor entity that has 58 members. And they have presented 1,280 quilts since the year 2015. So that's 10 years. That's just wonderful. We also do these little at our hospital, when you have a surgery, they give you a little pillow sometimes to hold on to for the pain. And so a local physician's office donates the pillows, but we sew the covers for them. So it's a great use of leftover fabric because they're just like 13 inches by 37. So, great use for that donated fabric and stuff. And it can be any kind for men or women. So we do a lot of that. We were told they use 100 a week, but then we've heard from other people, 40's probably more like it was exaggerated a little. We make bed size, the hot dog pillowcases. And once a year we take them to Hope Haven, which is a special facility with live-in and at-home clients, but mostly for the live-in. mentally disabled. So they get a pillowcase for Christmas. And this year we gave them 95. So that was big. We do Linus Project. We're kind of new to that. That was one of our recent speakers. And we also make quilts for DHS, for the kids that are in foster care, when they're taken from their homes, that they would have a quilt to hang on to. Walker bags for the care centers. And I'm also affiliated with Birthright. So we make burp cloths and bibs for Birthright. We are just about ready to have our quilt show. It's every other year, and we use it, the Armed Forces Armory in Middletown for our show. It's going to be Friday, April 25th and Saturday, April 26th. Opens at 9 each day. There's over 200 quilts to be displayed. There's a challenge area of the floral theme of the quilt show. There's a bed turning, quilt raffle, which I didn't bring the quilt because I would have had to come early, I figured, but I have a great picture of it. Our quilt raffle, the tickets are $2. We brought them with us, and it's 116 by 116 in purple batiks, and it's just fabulous. So down at the end, we could show you a picture if anybody wanted to see that, and we have tickets. We have also, we do little baskets with donated items, and you can buy, say, 5 little keep this coupon tickets and put them into whichever basket you'd like to win. So I've had really good luck there. I won 2 of them last year. Yeah, so then there's like a country store at our quilt show. We all try to make handmade things to sell in there. Tissue box covers, wallets, bags, throw pillows, all kinds of things like that you can buy there, and they're all newly made. Plus we call it Franny's Attic because Franny originated it, and it's a whole big L-shaped hallway full of the fabrics you don't want and the patterns you won't use anymore, and books, and it's all really reasonably priced. So I call it the Frantic Attic because I'm just different that way. So you can get frantic in there, trying to get all the bargains that we have for sale. So we have that. We have Peace Lutheran Church comes and serves a luncheon that you can buy lunch while you're there. And let's see what else. Lots of vendors. Admission is $5. Also, in July of this year, I think it's the 25th and 26th. It's the last weekend in July, last full weekend. We will have a mini quilt show out at the Des Moines County Fair, which is by the college in West Burlington. So it's just a little area of a variety of quilts that they'll show. And they usually have a challenge for us, like something to do with a farm or something to do with teachers or whatever. So we'll have bags and aprons and all kinds of different things to show out there at that. We also, I did boss everybody, and I made them wear their t-shirts or their sweatshirts. So we're starting this side. This is a fundraiser, girls, for selling these. We got to keep $5 for every t-shirt we sold to the members, and we got to keep $6 for every sweatshirt. So a lot of people participated. Some of them waited till they could see what the colors really looked like. And then around Christmas, I opened the store again so they could, it's all online. Everything is online. You don't handle any money. You just may need to go pick up your sweatshirt when it's done, but you can opt to have it shipped right to your house. So it's really a good deal for, to make $5 per person. Some of these people with 200 people in your guild, if 150 of you bought a t-shirt, that's $450. So yeah, math's my thing. So anyway, it's a good deal. So that's another fundraiser idea. I said last year we were starting a mystery quilt, and we did finish that now, and it was really fun. It was called Beyond the Blocks, and I have on my sheet, the designer was Linda Johnson and Jane Wells. And this was so unusual because it didn't go together like block after block after block. Sometimes you do this big, long section and it was pointy on the ends. Well, yeah, it went diagonal across the quilt. So the pieces were really unusual and you didn't really know as you went through it what it was going to look like. But you started with like maybe a panel that had a good 9-inch block, multi-block panel, and we made star blocks out of all of those, but some of them were on point. So that was kind of difficult because you had to get that square out of the panel so it would be on point when it went into the quilt. So you knew how many to do square and how many to do on point. Anyway, there'll be a bunch of those to show at the quilt show that next couple of weekends from now. So we have quarterly sew days. And because we do so many charity projects, they give us one day we pay for using the facility and the next day it's free. But the stipulation is it's because it's for charity. So we do a lot of our works then. We've had a lot of workshops and speakers this year. I'm the vice president, so I get to try to plan all the fun stuff. I brought the co-presidents, Gail and Dottie, and the treasurer, Gail, came with me. So that was fun that they could come along. One presentation we had, because we're so involved with Quilts of Valor, I thought, I wonder what it's like on the other end to receive a Quilt of Valor. So we had a disabled veteran come in and talk about what it was like to be on the receiving end of the presentation to get that quilt. And then it also gave him an opportunity to talk about how he got his service dog. And we did a little donation to the organization that trains the service dogs. So that was really, I've tried to come up with some different things. I had a physical therapist come in one day because, you go to a retreat and you sit there all day long, sometimes 12, 14 hours we're sitting there. Of course, we get up to eat and go to the bathroom, but she came in to teach us what to do about every 2 hours to get up and stretch. What are the most beneficial stretches for the quilters? And she was so kind that she made a list that we were able to hand out to everybody. So take it with you to your retreat and get up and stretch and help those legs and help those backs, because my ankles will swell, if I sit there too long. So anyway, that was fun. We called it Stretches for Quilters Body Health. We had the Charm to Needle in Burlington is a newer quilt shop, and they specialize in making t-shirt quilts for people. So they just came in and talked about the process of t-shirt quilts, what kind of stabilizer to use, what size blocks do they like to cut, and all of that kind of stuff. And then they had just a little shop with a few kits and things that you could buy. For Easter last year, I thought, well, it'd be fun if we just bring like from the past. Have you ever made any homemade bunnies or any, like I made Easter eggs out of a cutter quilt, an old quilt. So I had everybody bring in any kind of fabric Easter things that they had made in the past, and we got up and showed those. And then we also had a fashion show with all of our clothing and jackets and things that we have made over the past. There's a shop in Aquaka called Riverbanks Fabrics, and Julia from down there came over and she taught us how to make a fabric postcard. So that was like a 3-hour Saturday class, and they were basically like a stack and whack kind of a process, or I think of buggy barn patterns, where you stack your fabrics and you cut them a certain way, and then you rotate a top to the bottom, and then you rotate 2 to the bottom of a different section. So you end up with a real scrappy top. So, but there, some people used Christmas fabrics, and when we're all done, it's like, oh, that looks like a mountain and that looks like a tree in the front, just interpretation. But, from doing the process, we learned what products to use, and then you can go home and applique on them and do all these different things. You actually you draw the lines and the address area on the back and you can mail them. They're zigzagged all the way around the outside. So you can mail them with a regular postage stamp. And so I tested it to see if that was true ahead of time. I mailed one to my granddaughter up in Moline, and I mailed one to California, and they both arrived intact. They weren't squished or anything. So anyway, that was fun. And then I taught a couple of presentations, and one of them was a potato chip quilt, which you can find it on Facebook, but it's basically a quilt made out of 2.5 by 4.5 inch pieces. So you just open that drawer where you threw all the leftovers from the old quilts, and I pulled out a bunch of 2.5 foot by with the fabrics binding strips that were left over, cut them all up, and I did this potato chip quilt. And so, you know, to keep up with the potato chip theme that month, we also had somebody come in and do a tote bag made out of a local brand of potato chip, and how you put the plastic on the outside. It's actually an iron-on vinyl, and put a zipper on it. And so she went through all the steps and showed everybody how to make the zipper, the Sturzing potato chip bag. But a lot of us have M&M bags too, and because once you learn how to do it, you can make it out of anything. So that was a fun presentation. And then I taught the Jelly Roll rug making, and I think mine was the waviest rug of the whole class, but I'm kind of an overachiever, so I tried to make mine with 2 packs of Jelly Rolls. So it's huge, and I had to tear it apart twice, and now we just put a table on top of it. So I just jiggle it so the lumps are underneath the feet of the table. We had Wendy Reed come in and taught us about Seminole quilting, which was a lot of little piecing, but I used mine. I didn't make a big quilt out of it, but it was really neat on the edge of a tea towel to hang in the bathroom. So after we did that, we said, well, let's do a challenge for Christmas. Speaking of tea towels, decorate a tea towel any way that you want, or a bath towel or a hand towel, and just bring it to show at the Christmas party. So that was fun. Nobody got any prizes, but we got to see what everybody else came up with, which was good. And then some of them would make a good Christmas gift, you know, because we all about being productive with what we're doing. And we have a local fiber artist that's really interesting, and she teaches a lot at the Art Center in Burlington, but I asked her to come in and talk about weaving with scrap fabric. And so she did that, and she showed up some of the things that she had made. And then we had a 3-hour class with her where she brought the loom, and it was already I forget if it's the warp, but it had the streams already, crochet thread going one direction. And then we used our fabric scraps and went in and out, you know, and so we made a little rectangle, a little bigger than this. And her name was Christine Williamson. And then what she does, if you give her $10, she'll take yours home and she'll make a little bag out of it with a handle. So, but I decided not to do something different. I'm gonna make my bag this big so it'll hold a tablet or something. So, so that was fabric scrap weaving. February I found a quilted heart. Have you heard of that one? I found a quilted heart. You can find it, search it on the web or on Facebook. So I sat at nighttime, and I had sewn a bunch of my scraps together. So I sat and I cut out all these little hearts of the same size. And I actually found one personally in a Hardee's restaurant year or two ago. But so I cut out 40 of these little hearts with the scrappy front and batting and backing. And then the activity at the program was everybody got a big whole needle and some embroidery floss, and they did a big stitch around it, and then they put on a string to hang it, and there's little tags you can print off online that says I found a quiltedheart.com, I need a home, it says. And so you pin that onto it with a little bitty diaper pin, little bitty one, little gold one. And you hang it in a tree somewhere, you know, when you're out walking, or leave it. And there's rules online of where you're not supposed to leave it. It's not supposed to be in Hardy's bathroom, but that's where I found mine. And it just really brightened my day, you know, that day that I found that. So that's what it's about. It's about brightening people's days, and putting them in unexpected places.
Don't give them to family members. I gave them to family members to pass out. Every one of them kept them.
They
They
do.
have them on the.
Well, it's
I'm
okay.
like, come on.
But what a fun thing, huh? So let's see. The other thing, we have a UFO challenge going on right now, and we've done this before, but I carry a little recipe box and I carry a big plastic container. So you can take 5 cards out of the box and put your name on them and put 5 of your UFOs and when you started them, or approximately, if you can't remember, it doesn't matter. Anyway, they go into the box alphabetically. And then when you finish that item, you bring it and show it to everybody. And then you can pull your card out and put on there the date that you finished it. And it goes into the big tub. And we do a quarterly drawing then out of the big tub for a $15 gift certificate to a local quilt shop. So that's kind of fun. And then we'll do a yearly drawing, but I can't remember how much that is. And the people in the back will remind me. But is it $50 for the yearly? I don't remember. Anyway, we'll look back in the notes. April's the first drawing, so I'm hoping I can get mine done the next by the 22nd. I got to finish one so I can get one card in there. And then August, we do have Kathy Bush coming, and she will be teaching. I know somebody else had it on their list. 7 Secrets of Scrap Quilting is what she's going to do for us. So anyway, thank you for having us up here. This is really informative and fun. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, you, in the back. Run.
I'm from the Cedar County Peacemakers Quilt Club in Tipton. I'm one of your real newbies. I've not been a member very long. I've not been quilting very long either, per se, for quilting. I've done all kinds of sewing all my life, but kind of switched gears in the last couple of years to doing the quilts. Carrie Smith, who owns the Fabric Stasher, is when she first opened, I took my first official quilting class, and it was with the Underground Railroad quilt. It has all the different things, and you could either do the small size or the big size. And at the time, I thought, well, I don't have a lot of time to quilt, so I'm just going to do the little one. And so you get these little tiny squares about like this sometimes. I was just floored. The one day I was sitting in working on one of the really tiny ones, one of the ladies that was taking the class, she says, "Oh my, you must be been quilting forever." And I kind of gulped, and Carrie just started laughing. She just started giggling, and she said, "This is her first official."
Carrie is an enabler, isn't she?
She's actually married to my first cousin, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, our club meets the first Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m. at the Trinity Lutheran Church in their hall. And I think that's where the group is almost always met. Most of the year they do a quilting session starting like at 2:30 in the afternoon. The ladies will come in, and that can make it will come in and sew. Then we break, go for supper, come back and have our regular meeting. Some of the annual projects that they do is the charity quilts. These are made and donated to the fire department, the ambulance, the police department, and they're used for emergency situations, or somebody might have a house fire or a bad accident, they're able to give them a quilt to wrap them in right away and whatever. So that's been really, we usually have several of those on hand for that. One of the fun ones that we've been doing the last, I think, probably 2 years, they're called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Has anybody heard of doing that? Okay. The quilts are sewn and donated to the group that provides brand new beds to families in your area who do not have beds. You'd be so shocked how many children don't have a bed to sleep in. And so there's volunteer groups that get together. I know I'm part of the Rotarians too. We have part of our group will get together and go up and help build those beds. And then some of them have been in on when they've taken it to the home and delivered it and then take a quilt, or some of the groups also provide just the Tide blankets. Some of them have done that and donated to that too. One of the fun things we did this last year, one of our ladies came in and she said, I have a new idea. They're called fidget quilts, done for nursing homes and taking them to the school for the special needs programs. And they're not real big, about like that pretty much. And kind of have, most of them have about 9 little sections in them, or 12, depends on how big you make yours. And in those sections, you might just simply have a zipper. You might have a quality string with maybe keys tied onto it. Something that, you know, triggers their attention. It's a sensory type thing, and it's been very much appreciated in the area. They do the Cedar County Historical Society has their big fall festival. And we've been asked to do quilt show at that the last few years. So we're doing that again, and I believe it's in August. They also donate at least one quilt to the Rotary Club when they do their annual auction in the fall to raise funds for all of the things that the Rotary in the area does. And so that's auctioned off and the Rotary gets to keep those proceeds. It's always fun. I had the privilege of buying that last year. So I was really tickled. The newest thing that we're doing is we're calling it charity sewing. One of our longtime members has had this stash. She's had 50. She counted them. She said, I had 50 quilts already in these beautiful little plastic tote things, all cut out. The patterns are there. And she said, I just love to buy material and cut out and stuff. So she decided she was going to donate those. And we already started last weekend. We're going to be meeting and doing those quilts, and then they're going to be donated to people that either had the flooding or the fires in North Carolina or California. And we're going to have an article in our newspaper, hopefully this next week. We're going to open it up to the community to encourage other sewers in the community, the county, whatever, who don't belong to our club to come in, join us. You don't have to be, even people that don't sew, we're saying, come in. There's things you can do. You could help trim, you could help iron. And that way the sewers can keep sewing. You can bring your machine or you don't have to bring your machine. And so that's been kind of exciting for us to get that off the ground. We're going to be meeting April 14th during the day because there's like two different days we're doing that. One's like Carrie, who can't, she's got her own quilt shop and she's not open on Mondays. And she would like to come and possibly be there that day. So we decided to do some of it during the day. Otherwise, we're doing it on Saturdays. And anyone's welcome to come and join and just enjoy the fellowship and the sewing. Darlene, would you bring every year they've been doing a mystery quilt. Mine's not as far as hers. I had a meeting with my seam ripper last weekend. Discovered that my centers were not the right centers. I should have had the other color.
My goal for the mystery quilt this year is use up all those scraps I've got. I decided I'm not buying anything. I'm not done yet, but I'm getting closer. Hey, do you wanna?
Yep.
Grab that in. I have one more, border I'm gonna add on the top and bottom. Blues and greens.
This has been a challenge for me because I've never really done much quilting, and then I thought, oh, I'm gonna try this, and so it's been so much fun.
Yeah, it's a challenging pattern. I like more just doing blocks.
It's been interesting just to see some of the guild members who've had more of theirs done and been bringing it, seeing the color combinations. Some of them are real light colors. Mine's actually going to be pretty dark. My daughter was going through my stash of stuff and she goes, oh, Mom, use this material. This would be cool. So that's what we did. Our club has right about 35, between 35 and 40 members. So it's growing. My granddaughter actually is one of the youngest ones, so it's been kind of fun to get somebody that age encouraged to start coming, and she likes to try to sew, so that's been good. I like the ideas of you guys with the 4-H clubs getting involved with that too. That's awesome. Any questions? I got lots of ideas for speakers for this. I'm the current president. So this was good for me to come and just get exposed and get lots of new ideas. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hey, anybody else want to do,
Okay,
keep saying?
good, keep going.
So I'm Chris Frank. I'm the president-elect of Keepsake Quilters Guild. And if you're looking for a sheet, ours is a pink one. And I won't talk about too much that's on there. One of the things that we've had happen over the last, say, about year and a half is we've grown from about 60 members to 86, including an 11-year-old and her older sister. So we have a student rate of $15 as opposed to the 30 for others. And we decided that maybe we just need to have a family cap of like 45 just to, we want those kids to come, you know. And one of the things that we've been working towards for summer is that through the local Christian school, they've said that they will give us space to do a sewing day camp. And so we're kind of trying to flesh out how that works, but maybe have an upper elementary group and maybe a middle to high school group. And we've had people step up and say, yeah, I would help with that. And we've had people who'd say, yeah, I'll bring in machines so that you can do that. It helps that some of us are machine collectors. So yeah, we got machines. You know, but even if we're just sewing pillowcases with one group, you know, they're getting exposed and they're finding out about the fun of fabric. We have a quilt show every other year. Last fall was our time to have our quilt show, and we moved into a new space. And we had the largest quilt show we have ever had, and we made over $2,000 more than we ever had before. Now, one of the ways that we think that contributed to that, because it was held in downtown Cedar Falls, and one of the gals is in advertising, and she said, let's go, and we've all shop hopped, but let's create something that happens that weekend of our show for all the small businesses in downtown Cedar Falls. And so they got them to partner with it and go. There was about a dozen businesses on there, and you went to visit them and you got your stamp, and the quilt show was one of those where you turned in your card then, and they had a prize drawing. And we think that that really helped up our attendance and do something fun for the downtown Cedar Falls area.
Chris,
each shop owner downtown have the things too. So-
Yeah, they had the cards, they were passing them out and
Yeah.
letting people know. It was great. And that's Jan that I brought with me. Our charity arm is called Quilts to Share, and Jan has just taken that over in January, and we're in the process of moving it out of a person's home and into the basement of the Crazy to Quilts quilt shop. One of the things we found is a lot of new people won't go work on the charity quilts if it's at somebody's home, because they feel like they're kind of imposing, and I can understand that. I have no idea where that gal lived. Don't know my way around Cedar Falls, Waterloo that well. I live in Dyke. I've only been in the area 4 years, so it's kind of an experience. But we found out also that if you store your charity fabric in clear totes and organized by color, you can find your stuff a whole lot easier. So we are in the process as we move things over to the basement of the quilt shop that we get things into clear totes and organized by color, and it's super helpful. We found out we have approximately 150 quilt tops waiting to be quilted. So last year we tried for a grant to buy our own long arm as a group, and we were turned down, but told to try again because there was a lot of support, just not enough. They didn't really understand what we do. I also think that they don't understand how much a long arm costs. They think we're just buying a big sewing machine. And, they don't understand that we're talking a $15,000 to $20,000 machine by the time you have everything you need to make it work. So we're going to continue to pursue that in the coming year, and got some people working on it now who write grants, and now that we've gone through all the inventory of Quilts to Share, we feel like we have something more to demonstrate our needs. So think about there are lots of places that you can get grants in nearly every community or every area, and the money's out there. I've been a grant reader for other organizations, and we have money that doesn't even get applied for in a lot of places. So be willing to be daring and go after that so that you can do what you really want to do. Dream big. On our list of programs, I wanted to point out one name. Maribeth Sonneson is an amazing modern quilter. And one of the things that she's going to be leading a program on this year and do a trunk show is paper piecing. And she takes it to a whole another level in ways that most people haven't even considered and stuff. But we're looking forward to that. About a third of our programs are about new techniques. About a third of them are done by shop owners coming in and sharing, and about a third are from people for their places out, that we bring in and stuff. And we would love to partner if anybody else meeting like near the third weekend of the month. We're the third Monday of the month. So I was curious if anyone else meets around that time. When's yours? Okay, that maybe we can bring some people in together and share some costs that
Yes.
those airplanes are
Ours is
expensive.
before, yeah.
Those airplanes are expensive,
How
but
many are in your guild now?
86. And so we're almost outgrowing our church room that we use, which is a lovely problem to have.
If you do get a long arm, where would you put that, and how would you train?
So we
people
have space in our new Quilts to Share space
Mhm.
for that, and we will conduct trainings for those interested in doing it. And you kind of got to have your class and be passed,
Yeah.
because it's not for everybody. It's probably not for me. You probably don't want to turn me loose on a long arm. That would be dangerous, but, you know, there's people who do it that are willing to teach and willing to be around when others are doing it and stuff. So, you know, we feel like that is something we can do. And it's not going to be a computerized one, but just a good basic one that can do all those charity quilts so we get up to speed on things. It's kind of embarrassing to realize your charity arm has all of these tops completed, but you just haven't finished the step. You can't give away what you don't have finished.
So you don't have people in your guild who are willing to do it on their domestic machines?
Well, we've been doing that, but we're not keeping up.
Just can't keep up.
We just can't keep up.
They give all these kits. And more people want to do the piecing when they do.
Yeah, we have more piecers than we have quilters. Yeah. You know, and one of the things we found out that is like for a way to let other people do things that they take home fabric and wash it for us. And somebody will put together a bag of red fabric or like a bag of blue fabric, and they bring those to guild meetings and they have people take it home, wash them. There's a set of instructions for what you do and you don't do. And they bring them back to the next meeting so that then they're ready to be used in quilts. And it's a kind of a fun way for people who are, maybe they're older and they have arthritis, they can wash, you know, or for younger people who work that don't have a lot of time, but we can monitor our washing machines and stuff and get that done. It's all about finding new ways for people to help and be a part of things that, you have anything to add, Jan?
That's one thing that was a concern at one point was the cost of our programs that we would have during the day. And so we tried, I was on the committee this past year, we tried to incorporate more of just tapping into our talent that we have already in our guild, you know, instead of bringing in someone else. So, yeah. What's that?
And we've had some good programs on just having a panel of 3 people who do a lot of long arming for other people and stating what they like in a quilt when it comes in. What is their nightmare scenario? And one of those people was going to get 3 quilts from me in 2 days. And it was the first time I've ever used a long armor that wasn't my neighbor. And it's like, oh, I've done a lot wrong. And she just laughed. She's like, Christian quilts aren't that big. I can just turn them in the frame. We're fine. You know, but things that we don't know. And there's a couple of us who show in sewing and fabrics and threads at the state fair. And we're kind of hoping to have a workshop to get people to show their work at fairs. You know, what you need to know if you want to take sewing items to a fair, what judges are looking for in quilts at a fair, because, you know, there's a lot of things we don't really realize until we get those notes back. And it's not about showing how good we are. It's all about those judges' comments that tell us things that we didn't know. And one of the best comments I got a year ago was, there's this great video on YouTube by such and such. You just need to watch that and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Well, I learned a lot, you know, but so encourage, I know that several guilds sponsor prizes at the Iowa State Fair. I wish mine did, but they don't. But folks, get out there and show what you do. You do not have to have a perfect quilt to take it to a fair. Also think about the Clay County Fair in Spencer. They have a category for group quilts. And that's what most of our guilds do, is group quilts, you know, that have some fun with it. Show folks what you can do. And you'll be surprised how people will respond to that. Thank you.
Debbie, we do $50 for Lynn County is and a ribbon.
The beautiful ribbon.
Yeah, those are the best.
Debbie
ribbons
makes
out
them.
there.
Okay, let's see, we have, so far on my list, if I've got everybody, we have Mississippi Valley left and just another quilter left. Is there anybody else I didn't get?
Okay, I'm Diana Engelbrecht with Mississippi Valley Quilters Guild. We meet the first Tuesday of the month and we have 2 meetings. We have 150 some members at this point. Our dues are $35 and we do have I think it's 17 for junior membership. This going forward, we have Jeanette Dwyer coming from from Geneseo in May. Linda Lambert is a certified Laura Hine teacher out of somewhere around Chicago. And she's going to be coming and speaking, and we will have a workshop or a class with her. Roxanne Lessa will be coming in August. She is an art quilter and she's coming from North Carolina. And we will be having 2 classes with her, color play for quilters and fused applique and paint workshop. Let's see. In November, Carol Wilhout will be coming and I don't recall where she's from. Do you remember? Gotta get up closer here. And she will be teaching a class. She will be teaching a class on 2 classes, walk around the block, walking foot quilting, and the little gifts by the dozen. She'll be doing 2 separate speaking or lectures also. Tuesday or in February, we do a sew-in we rotate it between Charity Group, Quilts of Valor, and the group that does Habitat for Humanity. This year, the Charity Group decided last year that they didn't want to try to put together blocks that everybody had sewn because of the variance of the 1/4-inch seam. So they brought tubs from the storage unit of the Charity fabric, and we did a shopping in July last year. And you picked out a pattern you wanted to do, and then you shopped their fabric to put this pattern together. And then they brought it back again and brought the tubs back in November. And we had over 50 quilt tops turned in February. And that was our program, is the quilts that you made for charity. Last time we did Quilts of Valor 2 years ago. They're up again this year. And she had us do pillowcases and bindings because of the same reason. She did have to take apart some of the bindings because they weren't done, I think, on the angle. People sewed them together wrong, according to Quilts of Valor. So she had to take some apart. In May next year, we'll have Cynthia England coming, and June is Carl Hinch. We just had Leslie Swearinger here from Peoria, and she does modern quilting, and her class was really good. Her lectures were good. And we had one of our members, Shelley Moore, come and talk to us about what the quilters expect from you. The long arm quilters expect from you to get from when you cut it out to their table. We have workshops during the year. This last year we did coil bowls, beginning paper piecing, and edge. We're going to have beginning paper piecing and the edge finishes. We have a retreat twice a year at the Grace Lutheran Camp in DeWitt. Our charity group makes quilts for 28 organizations. And there's a list of a few of them in the thing. We have a doll quilts group that donates quilts, little 24 by 24 to Head Start kids every December. Let's see, we have 4 sit and sews groups. One of them meets twice a month and has breakfast another week in the month. And the getaway is a 2-day thing at the Deer Wyman Carriage House. We're having a bus trip to Wisconsin, correct? Yeah. We will be having a garage sale late summer, early fall, because our secondhand treasures at our quilt show was so huge that we had vendors upset. So we're going to at least try to decrease it by half, if not eliminate it completely. Our next show is October 16th and 17th of 2026. We do have an Etsy store for our sweatshirts, t-shirts, and mugs and wine glasses and whatever else she come up with. So they're the they're the stemless wine glasses, but anyway, and I'm not sure what we make off of them, but it does decrease the headaches for us to do it that way through a company, and then we get money from them. We are doing Farm Fiber Fun this year out at my farm. The Fiber Arts Group does this. And if anybody is interested in it, I will run through what the workshops are quick. Woven Christmas ornament, which is with reed. It's like a woven basket, only it's a Christmas ornament. Indigo dyeing, exploration of paper making, marbling fabric, goodness bowl, which is kind of like an English piecing technique, but you're making a bowl. That's really cute. Coptic bound art journal. She's going to teach you how to bind this art journal. Sashiko to go. We have kids classes that are sewn posters, t-shirt bag, embroidery, paint a banner, and tie-dye t-shirt or pillowcase. Then back to the adult stuff, faux felted plant friend, lasagna method of fabric painting, garden ornaments in copper, and mystery zipper workshop. Can't believe I got 2 people who called me already and said, I want to come into the mystery zipper workshop. I thought maybe I might get out of that, but anyway. But this is it's a 13-page informational thing about it all. You have to call the teacher if you are interested to get signed up. It's $10 a workshop, plus you may have a kit fee or some supply fees and some supplies to bring. We also have guided play times where we have everything but the fabric or paper, although we are carrying some fabric because with Joann's closing, it's hard to get a hold of prepared for dye fabric. We do all kinds of dyeing, the shibori type dyeing, ice dyeing, tie dyeing, whatever dyeing you want to do, we do it. Jelly plate prints, alcohol inks, Sukaniko inks, Shiva paint sticks, Dynaflow paints. We've got plenty of craft paint if anyone wants to use that. We got paper stuff you can use, and air dry clay. And so you can come out, it's May 15th to the 20th. The barn's open 9 to 8, 9 in the morning till 8 in the evening. You can come out and do whatever you want to. You don't have to take a class. It's big enough that you're not going to interrupt a class if you come out and do something else. So and if you want, write your email on here and I will send you this when I get home. So, okay, I think that's it for me. Are we? Yes, Jane.
One of the things that we found a year ago was that there was 4 raffle books here for the same day for quilt shows.
So this is the same weekend as our,
So we're asking, we have already booked the date for our October 16th, 17th, book show from 2026. Does
That-
anybody else have an October 2026 book show coming up? And do you guys have a date yet? Okay, so,
No date yet.
okay, so we are.
So stay away from that one.
So that.
Yours
that's a
is that
goal.
date,
We
though.
have to
Huh?
build-
Yours is that
no,
date.
ours is May with
Okay.
your thing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So that was just one of the things, right? We can't come to your quilt show and we can't come to our quilt show. We have to go to the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds far enough in advance. So we have booked our date. It is October 15th, 16th, 17th, that weekend. So we're just hoping that we want to be able to come to you guys' shows. We want to help support you guys. So
Exactly.
we're just hoping that we know our dates. Let us know. We're
Yeah, that was crazy last
Because
time.
I normally go to your show, I normally go to Decorah, and I couldn't go to either one. because-
I know.
Yeah.
Right, right, and we knew that. our
We had to go-
attendance
we were
would
up
be
at
down
Decorah, so we went to
because
yours.
You guys can't come, and, you know, again, we're a big guild, and we, you know, we'll have people that, from our guild that wanna come to yours. So we just wanna throw that out there now, so that, you know, last time it was a surprise that we saw all the raffle books, and all of them have the same dates on them, so. We're just throwing that out there to be able to support each other.
Yes.
Well, we gotta get together and have a bus that goes around all three.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
We did have a bus trip come into ours a few years back. We've heard of that. And there was hardly anybody on it. So that would be a good incentive.
And we had over 500 quilts this last year at the show, so I mean, it's a day trip between the drive for you guys and then trying to see everything that's there.
And if you have a conflict with the Fiber Fun thing, it's Thursday through Tuesday. So it isn't Monday through Saturday or Sunday. It's Thursday through Tuesday. Which I'm not even gonna go in how it got that long and those weird dates. People are going, well, I can't come on that day, but I could come on, okay, we'll add another day. You know, you're setting up the barn. One more day isn't gonna kill you. You know, it's a lot of work to set it up and take it down, so one more day isn't gonna kill you. I passed out restaurants that are nearby. All but the last 3 are across the road somewhere in that complex and possibly on the other side of Devil's Glen, or not Devil's Glen, Middle Road over there. Because I think that the street that goes down the middle of it goes straight across into the rest of the new part of the complex over there. So if you want to, you can take a place and have lunch somewhere close by.
Okay, good. Jane, are you going to?
I didn't know I was doing this, but that's
I mean,
okay. I'm Jane Darren. I just quote myself as I'm just another quilter. I emphasize using your scraps and your stash, so finding using all your leftovers and pulling stuff out of that stash so you don't have to go shopping. You can go shopping if you have to, but trying to find those fabrics that you couldn't figure out what to do with. So I have using your scraps and stash. I have embellishing your quilts or enhancing your quilts with applique as a lecture, and like fast, fun, and furious quilts. So a lecture on making those quilts that look really nice, but you don't feel like you're giving away your firstborn children. That lets us be a little more generous so that, you know, daughter's friend can get a quilt, you know, you can, those quilts of valor, to be able to do those quilts and be more generous because they're not hard quilts. They're just finding ways to make those quilts come together a little faster. And then I know I'm doing a class for the fiber arts group, for applique. Machine applique. So that's one that I kept saying I wanted to get my class together. I am teaching my first time on that class, in May. So, my little, all I have in there right now is a business card. So check out my stuff and see if it's anything you guys want. I know I have a few different groups that I'm coming to this year and a couple groups that I've been to in the last year. So I decided I'm fully booked for 2025. So, but I have nothing booked, I think, except for early January 2026. So just let me know.
Is there anybody that I didn't get to?
Okay, I want to touch on a few things we missed with our quilt show. It's May 16th and 17th at Co-College at K-Hawk Arena. We are going to have over 450 quilts. Or not K-Hawk, Cohawk, sorry, Cohawk Arena. Over 450 quilts. We have 10 vendors. We have quilts for sale, baskets and boutique. Quilts of Valor will be there, plus presentation. And our skills, which is our charity group, will be there tying quilts and talking about where we donate. Admission is 10.
Is there something for 2 days?
Yes.
I can't remember.
I think it's 15 today.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know about this part. We just show up. We have to volunteer. But anyway, I wanted to touch base on that because we do have a lot going on at that. And hopefully that will be a permanent location for us. We have been searching for one. We're tired of jumping around, so.
Pray for cool weather.
Yeah. All right. And any